for some reason. I don't get it. Anyway. Okay, so let's take a look at the patch. 1717. The patch we've all been waiting for, hoping that Mime is gutted. We're gonna see. There's actually a lot more changes than I initially thought. So let's get into it. The Sky Runes, Central Area. Excelgor and Escavalier, so the red buff and blue buff. EXP decreased by 70. I'm not sure. This matches the old values for red buff and blue buff on remote. Okay, that's pretty good. Zato XP decreased from 300 to 250. Zato XP is static, unlike most mobs. Okay. Altaria Eos energy from 5 to 4. Japanese patch notes have listed changes for Baltoy, but these are unknown at this time. Okay. This is interesting. I mean, I like the fact that there's less XP in the game, because it led to an issue. Having this much XP in the game led to an issue where everything was like super far ahead, right? Like you got super far ahead, and then like you kind of weren't even really that ahead because everyone else could keep pace because there was so much XP. So I like that there's less XP on the map. This means that if you do well and you play well and you get a lead, you're not going to be as contested. Anyway, top and bottom lane, Indeedis have less AS energy. Altarias also have less AS energy. So they're just changing it more to be like the old map. Regice buff now heals 5% of your max HP every 3 seconds, both in and out of combat. This is... wow. This is really big. We'll talk about that later. Rayquaza health decrease. Hard to get the exact values for HP, however, it seems to be about equal to Zap. Interesting. Mime still feels good. Mime's pretty bad. I mean, Confusion Mime can be good. Unless they changed it from PTS, but... Absolute Pursuits, buff duration from 5 seconds to 3. Irrelevant. I don't know. Aegislash Shadow Sneak, damage 2 hits, ratio 122 to 103 per levels 11 and 9. This is pretty good. Aegislash always had like pretty strong early game. Like you could always in top lane, you could always throw Shadow Sneak at half health and then you're securing the farm. So I like this change. Makes it certainly a bit weaker considering the menace he is later in the game. Ozzy got completely changed. I'm excited to see. Iron Head increased cooldown reduction from blocking an attack. Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe people will be incentivized to run Iron Head. Okay, Azumarill now evolves at level 4. Pog. Play Rough now learned at level 6 and upgraded at level 12. Damage per hit, 3 hits. Ratio went from 32 to 39 per level 3 to 4, base 50 to 60. The move still's kind of bad. Water Pulse now learned at 6 and upgraded at 12. So this is good because, well, I'll talk about this. So Whirlpool is 4 and 10. Aqua Tail is now 4 and 10. Also 8 seconds to 7 seconds. Aqua Tail Plus is 0.5 to 0.8 cooldown reduction on hit, and the ult is now at level 8. So the reason this is good is because before you could only really play Azumarill in the jungle, and there were better jungle picks, so you wouldn't really see Azumarill. But the thing here is that the reason this moveset is really good. So before you would learn Water Pulse, I believe I could be wrong.
God damn it.
I could be wrong,
Dude, he's
but
the
I
best
believe
card
that
in the freaking world. I'm gonna get rolled.
I believe that you learned Water Pulse at level 5 and Whirlpool at 7. I could be wrong, but I remember you losing your Secure at 5 on Azumarill. So now that doesn't happen because now you'll have Whirlpool plus the other move that secures, which is good. But this is definitely a huge change for Azumarill. Azumarill's a big winner this patch. This is massive. Blastoise, Water Gun, damage ratio 88% to 97, 16 to 17, 510 to 560. This is a really big change. This gives him like really good secure in lane. Holy, that's insane. Skull Bash, cast speed, increased damage. Okay, this is really good. Blastoise early game is pretty strong now. Surf is 12 to 10 seconds. His ult, Unite energy cost. Oh, okay. AKA cooldown to 112 to 100. So his ult's faster. So while his early game is really good, this doesn't really mean too much for Blastoise because the issues he was having was not in the early game, but instead in the late game and the mid game. He lost a lot of power back after Aeos Cup, and now he's only getting early game buffs, but he needs more power. Surf Hydro build's kind of a meme, and the Spin Spout doesn't do enough. Buzzwole! Whoa! Okay. So they basically gave him more attack early on in the game, and it scales up. Okay. And it, like, really spikes at certain levels. Mega Punch. Damage. More damage. Good. Better early game. Nice. Smackdown. Initial hit, 62 to 74 per level 33, 120 to 140. I mean, this is a huge change. This is so much damage, especially the ratio. The ratio is actually pretty big, but this is gonna do a lot more damage. Holy. Yeah, this is a really good change. Fell Stinger. I think this is his early game because I think Leech Life is at 5 or something whenever you get superpower. Yeah. So Fell Stinger, this is a good early change. The move already did a decent amount of damage, but it's nice to see it get a little bit of a buff so that it can kind of compete with other things in the early game. I'm scared of Buzzwole this patch, I'm going to be honest, just from these changes. I haven't even seen Leech Life. Now treats hindrance resistance targets as unstoppable. Okay, so it's no longer a true CC. So that's good. Okay, so it got more damage. This move's basically the same. But this is kind of interesting. So now basically you won't have Buzzwole, like if you're playing Greedent, you won't have Buzzwole taking you out of Covet, right? So this is good. Let's see. Fire Punch 6 seconds to 5. Cooldown reduction on hit 0.25 to 0.3. Cooldown comes up every 2 autos, assuming no CDR. Seismic Slam now gives hindrance resistance instead of unstoppable. So this doesn't really mean a whole lot for Charizard. Charizard's still really good. You're still probably running Flamethrower. I don't think Fire Punch is good, but I'll have to test it. Cramorant Air Slash Plus nerfed for some reason. Nobody was playing this character, so why are you nerfing it? Okay. Weird. But yeah, Cram's still bad. Gengar, Hex, range decreased. Pog. That actually might be a buff for the character Loki, but we'll have to see. That might actually be a buff. The Gengar might have actually gotten buffed, funny enough. Glaceon, not enough. Nerf it more. Greedent. Oh, Greedent Bullet bug fixed. Pog. Mew boosted attack. Bonus damage per threshold, 9% to 6.5%. Fix a bug where the dash would not properly cross some walls. I experienced this last night, actually, while I was playing Mew. It's really rough. Buff Puzzle counters buff Ozzy so hard. Yeah. W Slowbro. Yeah, Slowbro got a huge buff this patch. But this is what we're all here for. This is the thing we're all here for. We all wanted. Mime. So, Mime's Psychic. I was playing on the PTS, and everyone says, okay, everywhere I've seen is like, oh, Mime still feels good, Mime still feels good. That's Copium. Okay, this thing does, like, literally 200 to 300 less damage at level 4. Okay? Psychic is gutted. Okay? Psychic is absolutely gutted. And if it still feels good, that just goes to show how overtuned this Mon was. Okay? But Psychic was gutted compared to before. Especially the final pulse. It's crazy. Power Swap also took a slight nerf. Oh, they did fix the bug. Okay. They did fix the bug. So I expect to see Mime still in the meta, but I expect to see it with Confusion Power Swap instead of Psychic. But aside from that, you know, the old Mime completely just gutted. Absolutely gutted. So, you know, W. Slowbro. Slowbro's water gun is... I heard a lot about this from PTS the other day, when I was playing with Ben. And basically, this thing is, this thing, I think it does more than a Blissey Pound now. This water gun. So this is really, really good secure. Like, this is really, really good secure. I'm quite content with this change. Gives the, gives Slowbro a lot more presence in lane, which I'm happy about. Surf 9 to 8 seconds, telekinesis 10 to 9 or 11 to 9 seconds. Ult cool. Ooh. All right, guys, Slowbro's good. So Slowbro's pretty good. This is a really good change. This is a really, really good change. Slowbro should be able to ult around like... Well, Slowbro before was able to ult around like 3:45 or something. Now it should be able to ult at like 3:30 with farm, which is good. The surf cooldown's nice. Telekinesis cooldown's nice. I don't know if it'll come into the meta, but it's still a good option. So Sylveon, fix a bug that causes Eevee to deal special damage with his basic attacks. That's interesting. Serena, fix a bug causes Serena to be permanently slowed by speed flux zones under certain circumstances. That's weird. Queen Ascendant can no longer be used on hindrance resistance targets. Why? Okay. Unknown auto attack related bug fix. Okay, and Wigglytuff. Pound damage up. Dazzling Gleam. Okay, so tanks are really strong in this patch. So notice how they buffed Buzzwole and they buffed Azumarill, but they buffed tanks. So essentially what this means is like tanks are really, really good. And that means people that are good at dealing with tanks will also be good this patch. So that's something to keep in mind. That being said, one thing that strikes me as alarming in this patch is they're changing a lot of moves to be hindrance resistant, and then they're also changing a lot of moves that they're changing a lot of moves to no longer work on hindrance resistant targets, like Serena's ultimate, right? Serena's ultimate, you should be able to pick up something that's hindrance resistant because why wouldn't you be able to? So this is starting to be a problem. Here's the thing. If we take away Unstoppable and put it as hindrance resistant, and then we stop making moves work on hindrance resistant targets, you just have Unstoppable. Right? So, yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird. But, as a summary, Azumarill and Buzzwole are big winners of this patch. Blastoise buff doesn't really matter. Charizard nerf doesn't really matter. Cram nerf, Omega lull. Gengar might actually be a buff and might be stronger. Glaceon, I'll have to see how much 0.5 seconds actually matters with the runes and everything. Green still bad. Mew is still Mew. Mime is, in a lot worse spot. Psychic might still be playable, but I think Confusion Power Swap is the way. We're going to see a lot more Slowbro this patch, as well as a lot more Wiggly. Those mons are pretty good. Pretty good. And, yeah. That pretty much sums it up. Tanks won. Azumarill and Buzzwole won this patch, but I think Tanks won even harder because, I mean, the things that deal with Buzzwole and Azumarill really well are really healthy targets with CC, and so that's Tanks. So I think Tanks, like, Giga won this patch. Yeah, that being said, quick summary, just the map in general. Regice is useful, actually good. You're still going top for Relic-y. All these changes, all this means is that there's going to be roughly the same amount of points and XP distribution as Remote Stadium. So basically what we're used to. So games like going even closer back to Remote Stadium. The Rayquaza health being roughly equal to Zapdos is kind of worrying because this thing already died super fast because of how much damage was in the game. So this thing might just be ripped. Rip meta might come back. Aside from that, honestly, good patch. Very, very, very happy with this. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the patch, and I'll see you guys in the next one.